Let's talk. It's been so long. Hello.
Hi, Mpumi. It's been a young minute. Good evening, everybody.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, when was it that you and I worked together? You came to me like, Mpumi, I need you. What was going on? Where were you? What was happening in your career?
All right, so you and I connected in 2022. Well, it was a bit before that. We formally did the course in 2022. So at the time, I was in the digital advertising space. I was doing SEO, and some PPC. I was really doing social media management. And, you know, the space that I was in at the time was one where I can see that I'm working, I can see I'm doing things, but what am I actually called to do?
Mm.
Why am I here? I was working, but I just felt like, there was just some sort of stagnation
Yeah.
in what I was doing. And I was very dissatisfied, mainly because I'm like, I'm doing this work, but I don't feel a sense of achievement. Yes, I'm doing it, but where is that aha moment? When is that going to come for me? So
Yeah.
I was in a space where I'm working. Yes, I'm getting paid. I'm finding my feet. But for me, I was like, okay, listen, I get that I'm working, but I need to be able to have a greater purpose that I fulfill.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to do that in all spheres of my life, not just, in ministry, for example. It's just like, okay, now I'm doing everything and it's just ministry. But I need to be able to find that fulfillment in everything. So it had to be an all-round thing. So when I found you and I joined one of the master classes, I was like, Mpumi knows what she's talking about. Mpumi has been there. She's going to help me practically find the steps to be able to navigate my purpose
Yeah.
in my work life overall. So that's how we met. And yeah, I was really excited for it. It was when just, stars are going out and you're just like, what? Oh my gosh, Umi actually gets it. She understands the struggles. She understands the frustrations. And, I really felt a sense of relief when that happened because I was like, no, man, this cannot be life where you're
Yeah.
just going with the flow of things because you're here and you've woken up, you've been given grace to see another day. And I said, no, it can't be the case.
Yeah. And then you got into the program. Talk to us about when you got into the program. I think it was still a 3 month program, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, yes.
A 3 month program. So you get in the program, you learn all these things. How was the experience for you? What is the biggest thing that opened your eyes and made you realize, geez, actually, this is it and it's doable and I'm going to do it? How was your experience of purpose to profession?
So for me, the experience was I'm going to call it enlightening.
Okay.
And enlightening in the sense that I was now able to tap into my inner core, my inner genius. And the way in which this course did that was showing me my skill sets from childhood. So
Yeah.
the things that I was good at, the things that people saw potential in me, and what this course helped me to do was to identify those moments where these things were identified throughout my childhood
Yeah.
and growing up, and realizing that this is the times in which my gifts actually manifested themselves or showed themselves.
Yeah.
So what this course really, really helped me do is navigate, number one, my skill sets from identifying the key moments in my childhood, and number two, also identifying how these align to me as an individual spiritually, and how then this connects to the work that I have to do in my career path. So aligning, sort of my purpose and my destiny in the work that I'm currently doing, and
Yeah.
helping me align to where I believe the longing and the tugging was within me.
Yeah.
So the course really broke that down. And I really, really loved that because it showed me that as a child of God, your gifts are supposed to make room for you
Yeah.
and they're supposed to increase, help you live well
Yeah.
overall. So I really, really love that about the course. So identifying these spiritual gifts and how they actually work within my career. So it's not just a ministry thing alone.
Yeah.
It falls into everything and all other spheres of my life.
Yeah.
And what the course also really did, it really challenged me as well. Because, some of these experiences that I'd have from childhood were not pleasant,
Mm.
but in identifying them and seeing them, I was able to see that this is a gift that I have. And as much as it may have manifested unpleasantly at a certain phase or point in my life. So there were moments of discomfort in that regard because, you have to just sort of deal with some of those childhood wounds. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, so it's you again.
Mm.
Why are you here? And, in navigating through that, the Holy Spirit was also present to say, no, I'm not bringing this up to make you feel uncomfortable, but I'm bringing this up to show you how you overcame that, number one. And number two, you still have it within you to do that. And why, and also just showing that you're not the only one that goes through something like that or went through something like that. There are others around you, especially with the cohort that I had. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And then the interesting thing with you is when you were in the program, of course I was coaching you through the program, but then you were just like, Mpumi, there's this opportunity that's coming up and I want to get the promotion. What do I do? Please coach me. And I went out of scope and I coached you outside of the program just so that you could be ready and geared up for that promotion. And you got it before the program was even over. But then, as if that was not enough, a couple of months ago, you're like, Mpumi, my dream job, I got it. And I'm like, tell me more. So now I want to hear the more. And I think it benefits everybody else to know what happened for you to get that dream role and how Purpose to Profession was instrumental and pivotal in helping you get there. So tell us, tell us, tell us.
Awesome. So I'm going to backtrack a bit to answer that question. So initially at the time when I was in the course and I had, that opportunity come up and, we had our conversation, you made me list all the things that I can actually do. What am I good at? What are my skill sets? What are my talents? And, as we went through that conversation and I noted all of these things down and I was like, sure, I actually do a lot without realizing it. Just like you and Babi, when Lelo was busy reading out the accomplishments and the things that you've done, we went through that. And I realized I'm like, I actually can do quite a bit of things. Sometimes when you are in a role, you tend to be very, one-sided or just focused on that thing to say, this is what's required of me. This is what I have to do. Only to find that outside of that, you've done things that add to your skill set. So just because you're not doing it at your present role does not mean that you're not good at it or you're not qualified to be able to do it. So with that, I went into that interview and I nailed it and I got the role. And it was like, sure, wow. It was like sure, I actually did that. I got in and I was really grateful for that role and opportunity. So fast track to moving to now recently. So this role that I'm currently in, my dream role as communication specialist, it really just, it was a God thing as well. And it was also just a time for a change of season. So what happened was, where I was before, they were laying off people. And it wasn't because, people aren't like, I wasn't performing well or, I wasn't meeting my targets or things like that. It was just a matter of now the nature of the position that the company found themselves in. They had to now cut people and, shorten, just their staff base. So what happened was I ended up being laid off and I just sat there. I remember coming home the very afternoon when the news was broken to me. And I remember going, Lord, like, what is this? What is this? Having forgotten that, in my conversations with God, I said, I want to move into a different industry. I want to move into, communications. This is always something I've always wanted to do since I had graduated from varsity, but the opportunity hadn't, presented itself. So no, I sat there and I'm just like, Lord, what is this? What is this? And I'm already thinking my, daily expenses, like what's going to happen, and I'm sitting there and I was just like, oh, this is tough, you know? And during that process of sitting, obviously now I had to now start applying for work. I had to start, looking around because it was either that or now going back home. And I said, let me put up a fight. Let me, push, not just give up. And also I had my spiritual parents also helping me throughout this process where I explained and I said, listen, we've been laid off. I don't know where I'm going to get another job, what's happening. And they prayed with me and they prayed for me. And I was applying throughout that process as well. So coming back to the course and how that helped is going back to finding that inner genius, going back to digging deep into the skill set again to present that as I go in for these interviews. So I was being interviewed and there did come a point where I was tired, but what I was reminded of is what I'm called to do and that my gifts will put me before kings and, princes. And what happened for me to get this role was just, I did the whole process of interviews and, did the assessments and I was called again. And then I landed this role. But this was really God-given considering the timeline. You know how interviews and, these assessment processes can take time and wind itself. So when I was let go, I literally only had a month's salary to live off of, and then I had to now fend for myself. So this role literally came in when now I had to fend for myself. So it was a dream come true in terms of, God's timing and aligning with what it is that I'd always wanted to do. Something that I also remembered from the Purpose to Profession, course that we did was being able to channel that inner person channel that person and speaking life into that role. And when I got this role, I remembered the video that we did at the end, our testimonial, where I spoke this. At the time, I wasn't a comm specialist, but now I am literally that, where I spoke life into that role. And I didn't realize it then, but it only came now when I was into the role. Like, listen, you did this course to align yourself to fulfilling your purpose and, aligning your call with your destiny, and you spoke it into being. And even after that video, there were several times where I'd made mention of it and I'd had discussions about career, with respective friends and family. So when that happened, it was like, an aha moment. Hence why I came back to you to say, Mpumi, listen, I'm finally a communication specialist. I'm so happy because I know that this course really, it geared me towards that. And it also prepared me and helped me align myself in as much as I was doing something different and I'd received a promotion prior to that. It geared me to being able to be in the role that I'm currently in. And also it's helping me to ground myself and to root myself in the sense that, when you learn and you grow, it's helped me do that so that, you don't lose your footing as you step into your call, you step into your purpose.
Yeah. And what's interesting is there's this thing. So God's given me this knack or this ability or this gift where whenever I'm taking on a new cohort, I have a kickoff session with them and I'm like, okay, so tell me about yourself. Let me know that first life audit exercise. I'm like, give me the results. What did it say? And I kid you not, in that very first conversation, I don't know if Belinda's still here, one of my current clients. In that very first conversation, I am able to tell exactly I'm personally able to tell exactly what the direction is or where the destination will be. And I don't mention it to my clients because I'm just like, this is their journey. Let them walk the journey. And I sit back and it takes them there and there and there and there and there. And then finally, when everything comes together, they're like, oh, Mpumi, this is the thing. And I say, I've known all along. So even with you, when we were starting out, you were like, yeah, I'm just, I do SEO, copywriting, and all of that. My dream is, and I was just like, oh, okay, communication specialist, cool. And I left you alone. You did the work. In the end, that's exactly what she said. And I was like, aha. And so when you told me that you finally got this dream role, I was just like, of course, that is where the direction was going. That is where all of those exercises and those tasks were leading to the place where we all know was meant to be a purpose. And what I like about your journey particularly is for a lot of people, a lot of the clients that I have, they end up starting businesses with their new purpose discovery, right? And I say to them, it doesn't always have to be a business. It can be anything else. But what you proved is that it really doesn't have to be business. It can be corporate as well. So you got yourself in a role that is squarely fitted with your purpose, and you're now thriving there because it is where you're meant to be and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Now, I want you to talk to anyone on here who's like, oof, okay, I hear this now, but will it work for me? Like, will this program work for me? I'm sitting on the fence. I don't know when Bumi opens up this offer and I find out what it is it going to be worth my while? What do you have to say to the person who's sitting on the fence right now and doesn't really know what to do?
Oh, what I really have to say is that if you don't take this opportunity, you're really missing out and you're only adding frustration to yourself. If you have been a person that's been sitting, or when you're alone, you have thoughts that ponder of, why am I here? What am I meant to do? What am I supposed to achieve in my life? You find yourself, you're doing things, but you're not fully satisfied with the work that you do. This course really is for you, particularly as, a child of God. You believe in God and you want to make sure that everything that you do brings honor and glory to Him. This course will help you align strategically so and practically so as well, your spiritual gifting, your purpose, as well as what you're currently doing now, and help you to shift to make sure that everything aligns to that so that you within your inner self are at peace. So if you are somebody that's busy sitting on the fence, I say take that leap of faith. You won't regret it. You absolutely will not regret it. And the beautiful thing about this course is that even if it doesn't happen in the time frame that you want, best believe it's going to happen in God's time for you. And the work that you do within the course, you are planting seeds to make sure that, the seed you plant bears fruit to what it is that God has called you to do and what you have to do, not only for yourself, but for others around you as well. because as your gift makes room for you to stand before kings, you also give room to help and empower yourself to help others reach their purpose and their destinies as well. So you empowering yourself is enabling you to be in a position to empower somebody else. Yes, that's what I have to say.
Ah, man, I love that so much. And what it sounds like to me is the opportunity will come. And if it comes and you're not ready, you will be exposed. But if it comes and you are ready, you will be elevated. And that's exactly what happened with you. The opportunity found you ready. I am so proud of you. I am so happy that this has finally happened for you and at the time that it was meant to happen. I am so, 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 so proud. And thank you for being another one of my success stories. It's always great to hear these stories because it means it doesn't just work for me because I am unique and special and I'm a unicorn. It works for those who do the work. Principles work. You just need to work them, and they don't choose whether you're fat or you're thin or you're black or you're white or you're man or you're woman. If you work the principles work. And thank you for proving that the system really, really does work. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I bid you farewell?
All I have to say is thank you, Mpumi. Thank you to Purpose Practitioners Club. Thank you so much, and God bless you, and God increase you, and may more people find their purpose and their destiny in the work that they do through this course. It's really, really life-changing. It's encouraging, and also the people that you meet along this journey as well. So
True.
thank you so much.
This is true. Well done. Thank you for coming through. Absolutely, absolutely appreciate you.